Hello. I have an important announcement for 4th of July. There will be a cannon firing. I will let you know later. Now, last year's cannon firing was a bit of a disappointment, but I had to err on the side of caution because the frustration level in town here was not very high. So I had to, be sure not to have too loud of a bang. And it was not kind of a disappointment, really. But this year, it seems like the frustration level is higher. And people are, you might hear it pretty quick, people are booming off some big ones pretty early this year. So if it's like I expected, I'll use a quadruple charge in the cannon. So that's that announcement. And then, doggone it, a guy told me, this is no kidding, from England, that the same crap's going on over there on just who is a machinist. You can't be a machinist because you didn't work for Hubmobile and go, thank you, sir, may I have another? Hey, look, Chloe's got people coming by here. There's Chloe over there. Hi. You got a nice looking doggy. Yeah. Nothing slips by Chloe. But a guy was telling me, all right. A guy was telling me that the same thing's happening in England, like harassment and stalking, and the same stuff that has gone on here from these forums. It's quite unbelievable. Now, you will see me on some of my postings. I'll go professional machinist, certified machinist, and all of that. Well, it's nice to be certified, and you could say I'm a professional. I've had businesses work for companies and all kinds of crap like that. But I say that because of the people that chimed in, like our friend Forrest, in one of my last videos. And Forrest is full of crap, and he's got a gift of gab. And most machinists I know are just skilled people, they're just skilled people, and they're sensitive. They don't want people screwing with them. They don't want to screw with other people. They just want to do their craft, make their things, get paid a couple bucks and stuff like that, Don't want to go bragging about themselves and put themselves above other people without proving a damn thing, you know what I mean? Like Forrest and many of the others on those forums, the worst of them can't display one single photograph or anything or any evidence of work they do. And one of the trolls, I was even asking if there's proof of life from him. And I was actually quite taken back that Forrest is still alive. But so here I am, being accused of sending youth astray. But I have to tell you that at one time, and you might not really know by looking at me, I spent a big part of my life being young, and I remember I remember what it was like being young. And I remember what it was like being disrespected and dismissed and all that. And I didn't like it, you know. And being young is telling a creep like Forrest a good idea, and then he slaps you down, then comes up with it next week as his idea to solve the problems you have. That's Forrest, you know, and the rest of them too, the whole bunch of them. So, you know, I'm going to give you my opinion. What is a machinist? Well, I'll tell you what I think is not the most far from being a machinist is a person on fentanyl on Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. You know, that's about as low as you can go. But if you can stay above that and learn to make something on a lathe, do the basic things, turn, face, forward, then by golly, you're a machinist, right? And if you can complete a project, then you're a good machinist. Okay, one might ask me, Dee Dee, how do I become a machinist? Where do I get started? And, you know, I look at the whole internet thing, which is what you're going to have to count on to, you know, help you get started. And I have no connection with this individual. But what struck me about this person and their teaching on YouTube, it's very much mirroring on how the Navy machinist instructor at the local community college from gosh, I guess it would be from the early 1970s to, I don't know, maybe late 1980s or something. He was the instructor out there, and he had the same technique and the same projects, and the projects are steam engines. Now you say, well, why steam engines? Well, they're really one of the best projects because on manual machines you'll use just about every trick in the book, chucking and stuff like that. And some of those smaller machines can be totally done on the lathe, you know, but it's nice to have a mill you can, you know, do larger ones. But that's what the instructor at the community college encouraged the students to do, is to build a steam engine, and I built one out there. It's on the shelf in there. I think I've showed it a time or two, and it turns out to actually be a pretty good resume for you, rather than, you know, what you say on a piece of paper. You say, look at my steam engine, you know. And I can tell you, I actually got a job with that once, a long time ago. Okay, that's the projects, and the instructor I recommended is Blondie. Yeah. And I think that that's your best bet to get going right there, if you're just starting from absolute scratch. Okay. But if you like watching me and stuff, just remember some of the tricks and stuff, and you can add that as you're learning. And you know, one of the interesting things that I've noticed, some people quit learning, like Forrest. You know, he only sees himself. He doesn't see the harm he has actually caused, and the hurt he has caused to good people that don't have the gift to gab and stuff like that, like him. But him and his ilk made fun of people of their race and other things back in the early 2000s on the PM Machinist Forum. And back then, see, Forrest went by his real name, and I did too. And the owner of that forum also did. Then he changed his name to some dynamic fake, you know, thing. And but that guy's just a full-out white supremacist. You know, he's a member of the master race. And I pulled a spoof on him one time there. It really made him angry. You know, he's dismissed everything people say and stuff. And I came on. He'll remember that, and I'm sure he's watching. You know, he's such a puke, you know, and a coward hides like a maggot, you know, a scumbag. But he used to be out there, you know, used to be somewhat of a real person, you know. He created this fake world for himself. He's a fake machine tool dealer. I found that out from a real machine tool dealer. It's just a toy store, so we'll get more into that sometime too. But you know, it's just kind of a shame that people like that, you know, got in a position of influence and, you know, come up with stupid crap like Schablin lathes are better than the Monarch 10EE. Just complete nonsense. He can't back up at all. That DT Stinkfinger, he can never demonstrate any machining technique or knows what. Oh, I dropped my water bottle. Knows what techniques to use or anything, you know, like that. He just makes these statements and stuff like that, and people kiss his ass, and, you know, puts a person like Forrest, was one of the early moderators, I believe, and just a buffoon, just full of himself, and the rest of them keyed off Forrest, you know, in that situation. And so Forrest would decide he didn't like somebody and start insulting him, and then the others would jump in. You know, they all looked to Forrest, you know. Such a great guy. All right, Chloe, we know what you think about Forrest. But I just think it's kind of a shame that a person can go on and act like he did. Like, you know, he pulled the crap like on the forums on my channel here, and I called him out, pulled his punk card. He came in. It's like this. You go on the forum and you state, hey, I found a way to reduce taper on a part on a lathe. And then Forrest has started belittling you and changing the subject. You know, I say, you don't know what you're talking about, then blah, 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 blah. You know, and all I was doing in that video he jumped into was just showing a tool failure. That's it. You know, showing that old ACT brand versus Micro 100, and yeah, ACT just didn't make it. Probably Forrest brand, that's what he uses. He's never mentioned Micro 100, you know, and he comes out telling me that the Axon lathe is one of the finest ever made. Well, he doesn't have an Axon lathe. I kind of remember what he had. I just didn't pay much attention to the buffoon 20 years ago. I mean, I have better things to remember than his equipment. I remember he ran horizontal boring machines and stuff like that, but he knew absolutely nothing about close tolerance work with the toolmakers' lathes and jig bore. Nothing, no experience. He also didn't know anything about precision bearings. And I got on there very early. You see, I'm factory trained by the bearing factories and the experiences I'd had. And always being in the machines, I asked the right questions that served me well to this day and will help you as I build spindles and stuff in the future. So I started talking about spindle bearings and stuff like that, just some of the facts. And you've seen some of the literature that I have. And bearing in mind, I'm going to do a lot more of those, what do they call that, playlist thing? I'm getting a little more technically on track with this digital stuff. See, I was a film photographer, you know, and I'm not making an easy transition to digital. And as a matter of fact, I just kind of don't like digital stuff very much. But I'm learning that a little bit. But back on just you as a machinist, I just say anybody that can make something useful is a real machinist, in my opinion. You don't have to be approved by the likes of Forrest or the King of England or whatever the hell's going on over there. That was a shock to me. It's just, and the main point too is I have enough faith in youth because I'm not so far gone at 70 that I don't remember being young. And when I was young, I was a pretty smart mother. Yeah. Hey, I knew what I was doing, and I did it. Had fun doing it too. Yeah. So, the thing to do is just can't try to ignore this situation. But I'm really glad that Forrest popped in like he did and made an ass out of himself with that, changing the subject, and you don't know what you're doing because you're not a real machinist or some crazy thing like that. But I tell you what, I just don't feel that in this day and age that it matters. I think that these machinist skills, I look at them as survival skills right now. So we'll call them whatever they want, I guess. But if they're an asshole, I'll call them an asshole. Okay, now Chloe's groceries are ready, and she's going to take the big nap for a while. And my multiple surgeries of cancer some years ago permanently interrupted my sleep patterns. So I sleep for a period of time, and then I get up and do things. So that explains the all hours thing. And I don't think I can run out of content if you like machine work like I do, because when I get out here in the garage, basically all I got to do is turn on the camera because I've got all these projects going. And in the future coming up, there'll be more emphasis on the horizontal milling machine, jig borer, and cutter grinder. Okay, I'm gonna go get some sleep, get that dog fed before she feeds herself. See you later.